Welcome to our first episode of Blunt Force Business, where we're going to be talking about ditching the phone.
It's the art of fatherhood. That's the name of the podcast, dude.
Dude, I don't know that.
Well, you should have.
Oh, really?
You will after you watch it.
Oh, I will.
You ditch your phone all the time.
Yeah, wish I could, man.
Yeah, we'll get you there. After
Well,
the podcast, you will.
maybe.
Enjoy the episode. What should they do if they like it?
Well, they should like and comment on the YouTube video and maybe subscribe.
Probably subscribe.
Probably subscribe.
Enjoy. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Brian LaFauci,
Patrick Marino.
and this is the art of fatherhood.
Excellent.
Great stuff. This is
Today's going to be a tough one.
See, I did not say we got a good one today.
No,
So
today's
I
gonna be a
like
tough
how you
one.
jumped in and
It's
did
not
that.
going to be a good one. It's going to be a painful one for
You're
me.
going to feel shitty about
Yeah,
yourself?
exactly. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
most of us might feel a little bad about ourselves.
Yeah, so one thing I am like hyper, and this is, I'm not alone, but I'm hyper addicted to my phone. For sure. And I have thought of, and it's to the point where, you know, my son has definitely noticed it. Right? And also, I notice other people, which makes me feel worse. It has not empowered me to do anything about it.
Do you do the worst thing too that we all do, and then like when our kids are doing something for too long period of time, we jump on them to like stop, like get off the video games,
Oh,
get
yeah,
off
do
your
all the
phone,
time.
get off,
Yeah.
right? And then they look at us, they're like, "You
Dad,
motherfucker,
you're on your
you're on
phone
your
all
phone
the
all the time." They don't always say "you motherfucker," but they think
My
you
kid
know.
says that we're having a different
Yeah,
conversation.
but it's there.
Yeah, I think
It's in their head.
you know, I think that I mean, you can go ahead and introduce what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so I mean, the topic for today is Operation 3 in our book, The Art of Fatherhood, Paint by Numbers, is ditch the goddamn phone, right? Which everyone struggles with the same thing, and making a conscious effort to do this. I said it last night to my wife. Like, it was a dinner, and I had my phone out in front of me while I was at dinner, which I hate, right? Don't want anyone doing that. And I don't like to do it. And she's like, oh, she like looked at me, and I knew she was looking at the phone. And I'm like, I'm just tracking my calories. I'm just throwing them in here.
Yeah.
But it's the point, right?
Yeah, no, of course.
I could do that later.
Yeah.
Like I mean, do I have to do it right now? No.
Or how about this? Let's say it was 10 years ago. You wouldn't have had the option.
Right.
10 years. Now I'm dating. Now I'm really dating, but not 10
No,
years.
but it's
20,
true.
20 years ago.
No, but even 10 years ago,
Right.
I
You
don't
wouldn't
know.
have had the option.
Yeah, I don't know if they were tracking macros on the phone 10 years ago. I don't know if those apps were there yet. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% right.
Or even just like it's in my pocket. I feel it's uncomfortable, so I put it here. But now that it's there.
I can see it. Yeah, can see it, can look at it. This is a real issue. It's a real issue with being attentive and in the moment with our kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all face it. And so if we don't take a conscious effort to say, hey, we got to find a way to do something about this, and have, you know, the interesting thing is it's always there. So a lot of the things we talk about just in, especially when we're talking about fatherhood stuff, is we implement like ways to program it in.
Right.
So in some of the other things we talked about with getting the kids on your calendar for certain, you know, you can program that and it's there, and
Yep.
you know, it's there. You go down the list, and a lot of them are easy to program. This one's the most difficult because I know some people are really good at a certain point in time, and some people, this is a small percentage of people I know, where they'll plug their phone in and put it in the other room
Great.
at like 6 o'clock or something
Yep.
like that. Like, all right, I'm all done. I'm not gonna engage. We don't have house phones really anymore.
Right.
I don't know if you do. I don't know
No.
many people that do
Got rid
anymore.
of it.
So, you know, now it's that balance of, all right, what if there's an emergency? And that's what everyone always says. Well, what if there's an emergency? I'm
Right.
like, well, what if there was an emergency? Like you said, we can date ourselves, but what if there's an emergency 20 years ago?
We would have
And
just
it-
found out later.
Yeah, you would have figured it out at a later point in time. Right?
Would've found out later. It'd been awful.
Called the
Would've
police.
found out
That's what
later.
it is. They were called the police. Like that's what
I mean,
they
I
should
know
do.
that one challenge I have, and I know a lot of people like me, probably like our audience, is I am responsible to my clients at all hours of the day. You know, now do I And have I gotten better at certain points about setting boundaries? Yes, but at the same time, like I never feel comfortable. I always feel like I'm in like a growth phase. I don't feel comfortable like right now,
Yeah.
like not being available. I feel super uncomfortable.
Really?
You know, there's like certain things, there's certain parts, like if I'm doing, for example, like if I'm monitoring certain clients who have like social media accounts, right? And they're getting messages. I know they're not getting those messages because they're incompetent. Not incompetent is the wrong word, but I mean, they're not great with their phones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
So it's like
yep.
I'm filling in the gaps for them, and I don't have the people on my team yet who can do that for me. So like if certain types of clients who are working in highly where it's important that you get back to the person right away. Like if they're getting a message through their social media account or through their Google account, like and we don't get back to them right away, we're going to lose that person.
Yeah.
So
And especially now with the fact that, your business can be global or it can be international.
right,
You have a client in a different time zone.
right.
They're pinging you
And I do
They're
right
pinging
now.
you at
I have,
3, yeah.
I have people all over.
and they're pinging you at 3:00 in the afternoon. For you, it's 7:30, right? And you're
Right.
like, I'm kind of done for the day, right? But
Yeah.
and can you be?
So it's like you do, I think what you're going to say is we're going to have to draw some boundaries, right? You're going to have to put it down. You have to figure out times. And I do consciously do it, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I think more than drawing boundaries is we need to take advantage of technology to beat the technology is
Right.
really what we need to do. Like, and I think there's a million different ways we can do this. One of the ways to start that really helps is I think you need to look at the times. What are the most crucial times for engagement for you, right? And what are as we're talking about fatherhood, so what are the crucial times of engagement with like your family, your kids, your spouse, whatever that is, and block that out. And the one thing that our technology does have very well built in is the ability to say, like, all right, I'm gonna do a little do not disturb for these hours of the day, right? So I mean, I have that set automatically at night.
Right.
So from a certain time at night when I want to be sleeping till the morning, it won't, it doesn't give me any messages. And it's funny because I'll get up the next morning, and I get up pretty early now, and I'll get up and I'll pick up my phone, and there'll be tons of text chains and tons of dialogue, and I look at what time they went through, and I think to myself, because I'm consciously thinking about this all the time, like, wow, you were like engaged at home with your family during this whole time, and
Right.
you were engaged in like this banter, the entire time.
But that's the way we all are.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like we're unusual.
And I do the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
and
I do
I'm
the same
sitting on the
thing.
couch with my boy, like I got my phone open, and it doesn't even. Sometimes it's business, sometimes it's friends, but it's definitely like attention is gone. And I think we've talked about this in the past. Like, I think sometimes I don't know if I mentioned it here, but we've talked about it before. But sometimes the working from home thing is the worst.
It can be
thing
horrible.
because it's like. Because he's so aware that I'm not paying attention to him. Whereas if I wasn't there, he wouldn't be aware that I wasn't paying attention to him.
Right.
Like if I was working in a traditional job where I was just gone from 8 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. at night or whatever, I'd be out of sight, out of mind. I'd come home and I'd be able to spend time with him. You know what I mean? Like now it's like he comes home at 3 and I'm still home.
Yeah.
And now for on and off from 3 until when he goes to bed, I'm engaged in some sort of work-related thing.
Right.
Right. And so that's, and he's hyper aware. He's like, Dad, you're working all the time. When really I got it pretty good.
Right. If
You know what I mean? Like
really break
realistically,
down-
like if you realistically, like I spend more time with my kid than my dad did with me
Right.
the same age
Right.
because he was probably working more or like working at different hours or whatever it is. Like I try and work before he wakes up. I work after he goes to bed. Like I probably spend more actual time if you actually track the hours. You know what I mean? But in his mind, he's like, all right, for these hours, he's not really even paying attention.
Yeah, and what
He's
we're
on his phone.
modeling too is that, when we're with people, we don't have to be paying attention to them.
Right.
And I mean, I see that with the older kids, just in the way they interact. I mean, I'm blown away the amount of times I'll have a couple of my kids will have multiple friends over for like a sleepover. There'll be a couple of them there. They'll all be sitting
On their phones.
on their phones
Yeah.
next to each other, like or even more odd to me is the times where they'll be FaceTiming other friends talking about different things sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes like, well, what in God's name is going on? But we model it. We model the fact that during social interaction time, it's okay to be engaged in this in your phone.
Right.
It's okay, because you do it. I see you do it. So I can do it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to go away.
Right.
And really, it's the conscious effort of, all right, so how do we manage it?
Right.
What are some key things that I can implement just to manage it? Because if you make any active step with it, if you start with an hour a day, right, you're going to get through. That you're going to get through.
I know one thing I do, and we had, so my son, as of this recording, is 8.
Mm-hmm.
So he got access to like a tablet type thing by the time he was 1. Right. So he has access to that from 1 until like whatever. He upgraded to the point where he had a phone. It didn't have the actual calling capability, but he had a phone that he used. It was almost like a tablet, right? Because he couldn't call or do anything with it besides access to the internet. And one thing that we did, which I've made a conscious effort to do, is basically like if we're going into a restaurant, he has to leave it in the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then also like when we're going to see my parents, like he's got it, or if he's going to bring it in the house, he can't take it out for a while. Like there has to be like an initial period. So mind you.
So I'm going to go with
like
this.
Mind you, like I still have mine.
Right.
But I try, because I'm aware of what I'm trying to keep him doing.
Yeah.
I try and at least not engage with it as often. I'm not great at it, but I'm like on the outside watching myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like mindful
you're
of
being
it.
mindful of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to make sure, like, if I'm to tell him, like, you can't bring the device in when we're eating together, we eat out quite a bit. I mean, single dad, we're out and about doing our
kids
thing.
in sports.
Yeah, so we're eating out doing it. So you just can't have it. And, you look around, like, I try and engage with him.
Yeah.
And that's part of the way that I stay away from my phone.
Yeah.
Is by trying to keep the engagement going. So we'll do things like we'll play tic-tac-toe at the restaurant. Sometimes they give the kids like the little menu, so we'll play tic-tac-toe or we'll play hangman.
We'll do something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you're engaging, which is good because he gets used to it, right? And then like he beats other people at tic-tac-toe because they don't know they don't play it that often, right? So they don't know the little tricks for it. But I mean, like, so it's like a way of engaging with him and not engaging the technology, right? So it's like both things at the same time.
Right.
So that is a conscious effort I do make.
So can we take that one step further, right? And can we create like a social contract with our kids where, all right, here's the deal. If I take my phone out,
Right.
you can take yours.
Right.
Like, you become real conscious of it when we usually limit our kids' times on certain things.
Yep.
Video games and things like that seems to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
TV watching time seems to be one of them.
Yep.
If we attached our own attachment to our phones to that construct, right, how difficult would it be? But how much would we realize the fact that, all right, we're now engaged in this with them. We're kind of doing it together. And we're setting equal boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. And I get that. Are there exceptions to the fact that we're earning a living? Yes. But to your point, if we create some of these mindful actions of setting the time sometimes on the phone where it's in that mode of sleep, where
Right.
it's not going to notify us of anything and we just put it aside,
Yeah.
right? The easy one is put it in the other, just put it in the other room. A lot of really got into putting the phone in the other room when I go to bed.
Right.
As like a thing just to get it away from me. Sometimes just charging it in the other, if it's dinner time, maybe put it in my bedroom and I'll charge it in my bedroom. But being conscious of when we're doing that with our kids are two really good ways. And I think as you go forward, how do you make it? How do you continue to make it something that's front and center? Well, we go back to the calendar thing,
Yep.
right? So reminders. That reminders can be specific, or they can just be things that are important to us that we want to pop up in front of us.
Right.
I like to set little things on my calendar that might not be actually work related, but they're just, hey, remember about this.
Right.
Remember this is a thing you're supposed to be doing, and doing it for stuff like this is great.
Yeah.
Right? A lot the chapters in the book, I have them in certain places too, like certain places on my phone. When I go into my phone, I'll see the chapters.
Right.
Just a reminder, right? These are things that you're making important in your life. Have them be there, right? You got all those little those things that people put up on their walls that are like live, love, do
Right.
those little the home good specials, right? A great way for parents to kind of stay focused on what's important to them, because the operations we talk about are helpful, but then you're going to make them your own.
Yep.
Create a family live, love, learn board with your family of the things that you want to remind everyone to do, and there's plenty of places like Etsy and stuff like that where you can get that made at a very inexpensive rate, and it'll hit home.
Yep.
As opposed to the one at Home Goods, which is just generic shit that that everybody has in their home. Like we putting things in front of you as reminders is what I'm getting at, and putting down your phone. It needs to be consciously in front of you in places, because it's too easy. Like we were just talking about, it's too easy to forget. Had a cool moment. I was looking at Joe Rogan's Instagram page the other day. Something popped up. And I'm imagining this was in his house. It looked like he took a picture of it from his house. And in his house, on the stairs, going upstairs. Did I show you this?
No.
Okay, so on the stairs, going up the stairs from like one floor to another, was written, "It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll." I haven't counted, but I imagine that's 13 words, because there's 13 risers. And I know that because we put on our stairs in our house a very similar message, right? Of something that we wanted us to see every day and our kids to see every day.
Right.
And so I took a picture of it, and I,
well, part of the Joe Rogan lesson is be so successful you have people to answer the phone for you. Right? Be super rich and successful so that you can have other people do things for you.
That's true. Not the point of today's conversation, but a great point nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly.
The point being, I was like, oh, cool, because you do things. Like I said, his said, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Well, I think if you follow him, right, and it's all the same thing with us, right? It's like, what are we all trying to do? Like, we're 21st century men, right? And we're trying to be better at being a different type of man. I don't want to use the word toxic masculinity because I think that's fraught, but we want to be good dads, attentive dads. We want to be part of our kids' lives. And again, we've made choices. He's made choices in our life to be more involved in our kids' lives.
Yes.
It's part of why we do what we do and not something else.
And you can be a very good dad and be very masculine at the same time. I agree with you. That concept is so broke. And that's what
this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think there's a great conversation.
I know there's some things in my head. I know one of the things I'm going to do,
go,
and I don't do great at this, right,
is
every Thursday I have an important call at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
And that's the exact same time I pick up my kid
every
other week. So I got to keep that. But the other 4 days, I'm going to save 3 to 4:30 at least, where I try and stay technology free.
Yeah, and have them do the
pick
same
him up,
thing with
and
you.
it's like, you know what I mean?
Have
It's
them,
like that hour and a half is going to be free of whatever.
Absolutely. And that's a contract you make.
And then the other thing, I think that as I'm thinking about it, I think that one of the things we all can do is all substitutions, right? It's like when you're trying to give up something, you try and substitute it with something else.
Oh, that's awesome.
What can we do for an activity during the time versus just sitting there? Because if you're just no technology for the next hour and a half. Well, he's just a kid. Right. Let's figure something out for that time.
Yeah. Replace it with a healthier behavior.
Yeah.
Outside. Right.
Or we'd do things like we'd play cards.
Yep.
Or we'd at the restaurant, we'd play tic-tac-toe and hang.
Yep.
So can you replace it with something?
Take your boy's money in a poker match. I mean, that's much healthier than
I'm teaching him blackjack. He's got blackjack.
Even better. Yeah. It's good stuff. I love it. It's great. The replacement behavior was brilliant. You're 100% right. As you drop this stuff, have something to fill it in that's positive. That's, some of the other things that we talk about. So, love it. Our operation today, ditch the goddamn phone.
Awesome.
I'm Brian LaFauci.
Patrick Marino.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this and you want to see more like it, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really liked it, leave a like and a comment below. We will continue to drop episodes like this about weekly.
What?
Yeah.
You mean I gotta do another one?
Potentially.
Shit. Okay. Guess we'll be back next week with another one. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.